Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice. Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss. A VO boss. Set yourself up with business owners' strategies and success with your host, Anne Ganguzza, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry. Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
Welcome back to the VO B.O.S.S podcast. I'm Anne Ganguzza with my co-host Gabby Mystico, and we're here with a very special guest today, Miss Elaine Clark from Voice One in San Francisco. Elaine, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Yay! Yay! So, Elaine, you have been an icon in the industry for at least 30 years, and so you are an inspiration as a business model. You have an actual building, an actual school with rooms and studios and equipment. And so I guess I'd like to start off by asking, first of all, how did you get started and how did you grow your business? And I know it's not a small question, but how did you start even in terms of thinking like a VO boss?
Well, it sort of happened by accident in a way. I was a theater major in college, and I also got a degree in education. And when I moved to San Francisco, I then was trying to make a living as a stage actor. And with the $200 stipend per month that I was getting for the shows I was in, I realized that was not going to really help me in the long run having a career. So I saw a little ad to take a class in voiceover. And I went, oh my goodness, you mean I just have to read copy and they give me money and I don't have to go to any rehearsals? This is awesome. So within a year, I was then one of the instructors for this person who then went away, and I haven't been in contact with him anymore. But it was sort of the beginning with my educational background. People kept asking me, how do you get in it? What do you do? And then I would, teach them. And eventually I just needed to have an office because so many people were asking me, how do you get into this business? And so it was also kind of funny. So I thought, people are asking me so many questions about how did you break in, I should write a book so that people will leave me alone. I will just tell them what to do in a book. So that's when I wrote There's Money Where Your Mouth Is, because there was no training book when I started. We were just learning by whoever we could find along the way. And the people were willing to help you a bit when you got into the business. So the producers and directors, because they knew that to break in, there was really no place to learn. Well, now that's all changed. People are expecting you to know something. They're expecting you at a certain level to come in because there are all these facilities available in order to learn the craft. And so that's how it developed over time. And we're actually 31 years. I started Voice One 31 years ago.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I started when I was 12.
Yeah, that really says a lot, Elaine, about being a successful VO boss, for sure.
Yes.
And on a personal note, too, 31 years, you're talking about being prolific at a time when women were like an afterthought in this industry. So that's amazing.
Well, it was very true. At that time, only 10% of the work was for women, and the rest was for men. It's changed since then, and more women are doing work in voiceovers. But at that time, it was really hard. And I think that the person that I give credit to is Sally Kellerman. So I would do some of her scratch tracks because she would do Hidden Valley Ranch. And I would do some of her scratch tracks, and she was saying, okay, a strong woman can sell salad dressing, so why not? So it started growing over the course of time, and also as voiceover reflects society. As many people who are bosses of a company, females who are bosses, we're going to have more voiceover jobs. So that's how it increases as more women have gotten into the workforce.
Elaine, give our listeners some tips on what's important for their business in today's market.
Well, I think it's important to be prepared. That means you need to be trained. You need to know how much you're worth. So as far as costs, and that's where having talent agents are ideal. If you're going to go the pay-to-play route, you need to be at the top of your craft rather than at the bottom, so that you keep the standards high for everyone who's out there. So that
Bless you for also saying that.
Yes, I like that a lot.
So important.
It is, because we're only as good as our weakest link. And so if we can get rid of the weakest links and realize that if you got some training and you know what you're doing, then you can charge more, and it helps the whole industry. So just because you can plug in a USB microphone doesn't mean that you're a voice actor. There's a lot involved. Our job is to make someone feel and take action, and the action is to purchase the product, go into the store, go online and order it, feel a certain way about it. If it's about corporate narration, then it's about, telling us about a company and how proud we are of that. If it's about a video game or a cartoon, it's about entertainment. So we need to tell people, we need to apply ourselves to the various jobs and make it sound fabulous and make people feel the way that's appropriate to it, and they want to do something with that information rather than going, I really like that voice. It's wonderful. Sounds like my cousin.
I love that you're reinforcing the emphasis that it's not about your voice, it's about your client, and it's about helping them to elevate their brand and to sell their product.
Yeah, we're just the product that sells their product. So we have to separate who we are when we're given direction from the product that we are presenting to the client. We're in a soft sell. We're in a soft skills area where we can't hold the voice in our hand. We have to tell people that it's good and show people, and it's more than just a voice. It's way more than that. And if people are doing things just because they've told them they have a nice voice, they're missing a huge part of the business. Yeah. I know when I first started out, I probably destroyed a bunch of companies because I didn't know how to do it well. And we all have to go through that failing process in order to be good. But it's at the jeopardy of another company that's counting on us to make their business grow, to explain something to people who were not aware of it so that they feel more pride and confidence in that product.
And I think also the interesting thing is, as you were saying that, what it brings to mind for me is, as somebody who's been doing this a long time and as a professional, when I meet someone, I tell them what I do for a living. If they respond to me with, oh yeah, I can hear that, you have such a great voice, I cringe. Because that's not what I want to hear. I don't want someone to compliment my voice. I don't care. That it actually kind of it has the opposite effect. Whereas when someone's new, and we see this with a lot of novices, they're beaming ear to ear if someone says that to them. And tell them
right.
Great voice.
If someone says, "Oh, I really love that spot you did. I can't remember the client," that's a failure.
Yeah.
Because it is just about the voice, and it's not about the reason why you were hired to read.
And as a matter of fact, we should all be so engaged in the content that the voice is delivering that we don't even notice necessarily. We're just engrossed in what it is that they're saying, not the sound.
Right. And there's a lot involved in this. And people are really, I think, people who have just been told they have a nice voice and get into the business don't realize how much technique there's involved. That you have to make sure that the client's name stands out, that you have a certain attitude that goes along with it, that you use substitution, you have a story, it's about imagination, it's theater of the mind that you have going on, you're supporting a picture if it's video, and it's not drawing focus to you, but it's drawing focus to the client and the scene that's going on. And you're a scene partner if it's radio with the sound effects and music, and if it's radio, the scene partner is the video that's accompanying it.
What does a typical day look like for you as a VO boss?
Well, there's no typical day, which is one of the things I love about it.
Right.
What I like about it is being a communicator. So, and learning how to say yes. No to certain things that you don't want to do, but yes, and solving the problem later on. So with these voiceover skills, you can go beyond just reading copy. You can also do corporate coaching. You can that's where I work with newscasters and CEOs and CFOs of companies, teaching them the same thing that we know, how to feel and take action, and how movement and sound go together and motivate someone to take action. It's the same thing. It's just different words. So there are ways to solve a problem that if someone says, here's the problem I want you to solve, that you can then find a way, but not tell them how it's difficult while you're on the phone or quick exchange of emails with them or texts, but instead take a few moments and sit on it, and the answer will be there later on. It will be there if you want it to be. So, and also be prepared. One of the things that drives me crazy is if I tell someone they need to do something, or they're a talent and I want them to show up in my studio at a certain time to record something, and then they go, oh, that's fabulous, now let me go get a pencil. Well, that's pretty much telling me, well, you didn't want the job. I
Right.
will think of someone else. I'm sorry that you were selected. I want someone who then is already writing that down as I'm talking, and we're ready to go. Because we're in a business of time. Time is money, and if it's a client or a casting director, whoever it is, they don't have the time to chit chat about it. They'd love to, but don't have the time. You got to keep on moving forward. So I guess as far as a typical day for me, it involves auditioning, recording jobs, coaching people, running off to a corporate client. It's doing a little social media to keep up with things. It's looking at new technology, and then it's a constant circle of things. It's just a matter of which one leads. One of the things I love about being in the business, and especially in San Francisco, it's really nice that you can do everything in this market, and that it has. We have Silicon Valley, so it means we have a lot of corporate stuff. We have we've got a lot of commercial work here, and we have a big toy business and video game business that's going on, and voicemail systems, and you can anyway. So that's just locally, and then you can do other stuff through various agents and sites all around the country. I think what people have to do is, when they're the boss, figure out, where do I want to be? How many of these areas do I want to be in, and let go of the ones that don't give you joy and stick with the ones that do give you joy.
Here, yes, absolutely. I love that. I love that. Give up the things that don't give you joy. But you need to address it. So
yeah, sometimes that people hear you in a certain way, and you got to listen to that. So if they're hearing something in you and you're not accepting it, that's another thing of you sitting back and saying, why do they keep saying I should do documentaries? Why should I do that? What is it? Maybe you're just a very good storyteller. Maybe there's a lot of depth to your voice that you haven't thought about. So, and you're going, but no, I want to do video games. This is it. I want to do cartoons. That's awesome. So I love the variety that voiceover gives you. So I like creative challenges. And I like breaking the code in a script. I also like finding patterns. So that's why a lot of the work that I have is about sitting back and saying, what are the repeatable patterns, so that you're not always inventing the wheel again. So that you go, aha, hey. So I've learned how to read commas and periods and commas and dashes and ellipses. I know what that means. And so a lot of people think that, for example, an ellipses means breathe. No, it says change your emotion. But keep on in the same breath. Keep it going. But change. But people see it as stop, reset, go. And that's not it. So that's, and I love the challenge. All of a sudden the challenge might be, here are a bunch of acronyms I know nothing about. I will learn something about a company that I didn't know before. And then doing the research and being a little bit smarter than I was 5 minutes earlier. And then being able to deliver that. All of a sudden going, here's a product that they want to sell. How can I get behind it 100%? So I really believe that this is a good product, rather than I'm just saying words because I want someone to pay me. How can I get behind it and get into the heart and soul of this company? So that's the job, and that's the fun, and that's the acting part. I do believe everyone should take acting classes and improv classes in addition to voiceover training, because you need all of it. It gives you confidence and it gives you depth.
And you've been incredibly instrumental over the years in helping people with just that, to guide them on that journey. There's Money Where Your Mouth Is. We were talking about this earlier, is a Bible for many people in this industry. It's a textbook, which I know is kind of what you had set out to do with that work. But you yourself are still innovating. You've got some new products on the market now that are really exciting. Tell us a little bit about that, how people can get in touch with you, work with some of your techniques.
Okay, well, my website is voiceone.com, voiceone.com. So you can find information about Voice One. I do Skype lessons for people who are not local. For people who are coming in this summer, I have 3 weeks of a summer fast track, a week of commercials, a week of narration, a week of characters. So because I get people from all over the world to come in and study, because they've read the book or they know about me. We have a fabulous studio. I work with all of the instructors. They're there. I have 35 instructors at Voice One. They're all fabulous. And I play to their strengths. So it's also part of my educational background, so that every one of the classes that people can take, one builds on the last one. And the other thing I developed using my book, I took a few pages out of it and then created my first app, which was Activate Your Voice, a voice and diction app. It's only 5 minutes, and your voice will we used to call it stick to tape. It just sticks. It fills up the microphone more. There's no tape involved anymore, but that's how we used to say it. And then the latest one, Finding Melody in Your Voice, is about how do you use gestures effectively to create the sound that you can play this instrument we call the body to have the voice make those sounds, because you need to be able to put a dot, a swiggle, a line, a parenthesis, something around something really quickly when given direction, and know what that means and how your body's going to react to it. So it comes with a 16-minute approximately training video, and then it has a bunch of workouts there that I've recorded something, and then you get a chance to record and play it back and see whether it matches and see whether or not you can do that. So that's right in your pocket. So the Activate Your Voice is only 99 cents, and this other one it's a portion of the Voice One app is free, but the video is, once you've downloaded it, is $9.99, and that's what's going to help you with the interactive part of it that's in there. So it's highly suggested.
Well, I will highly recommend. I have Activate Your Voice. I love it. I've used it to warm up multiple times. It's a great little app. And actually, I just picked up your new app, so I'm super excited to see to watch that video. So, yeah, guys out there, these apps are just so wonderful and functional and super useful. So thanks, Elaine, for creating those.
Well, thank you. Yeah, they can see my little mime hands with my white gloves as I tell people I wanted to emphasize with my hands. Now, we're going to use our whole body, but I wanted to start out with the hands and make that active.
Fantastic. Well, Elaine,
awesome.
it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for talking to us and being such a amazing, awesome VO boss. I mean, you're just an inspiration, and Gabby and I are just so thankful for having you here today.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I look forward to hearing more of your podcast.
Rock your business like a boss. A VO Boss. All rights reserved. Anne Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.